The best hockey teams in Canada are coming here to play for the national title against you in Sudbury.
I can't tell you how excited I am to chat with you both. I've been a huge Letterkenny fan, as well as Shoresy fan, and season 3, from what I've seen so far, I'm only a few episodes in, has been quite the blast. Tasya, I'd like to start with you first, and then Keilani. What was it like when you saw the scripts for season 3, particularly how it opens after being on such a high rise in season 2?
Oh my gosh, I mean, my heart sank a little bit for the team, but like with anything, there's obstacles that come and you have to get around them, and that's what creates that fun conflict for television that we love. But I am so proud of season 3. I love where Jared took the show this year. I feel like we finally kind of got to step into his mind and see the full picture of what he was envisioning for Shoresy. So I'm really, really thrilled for this season.
And then Keilani, how about for yourself?
Well, without giving too much away, I guess I would say it brings me back to a chat I was having with Jared before we started this season. And I just remember him saying, "Be ready, it's gonna get weird." And I was like, okay. And I think that speaks really true to how we get down this season. And I think that it's just so enjoyable. So I'm really excited to see how people feel about that.
It's so amazing, the weirdness and the genius that comes out of Jared's mind and how they meld together for these shows. So brilliant. I love that tease for season 3, and I can't wait to watch the rest of it. Tasya, I will come back to you. I mean, Nat really is trying to expand the team's impact this season as well, obviously with the help of Mig and Zieg, but with promotions and with an impact on winning, what is it like trying to rein in some of the team's actions from her standpoint?
I mean, it's not easy, man. That's where a lot of the comedy lives, is that you have Nat and the girls, who are very strong in their own right, are trying to wrangle these cast of clowns in a way, these hockey players that are just, they can't seem to get anything like straight or right, and there's a lot of buffoonery. And so trying to wrangle them is always a bit challenging. But I mean, this year I remember when we were filming one of the commercials that the boys do, we were standing there just watching the boys like laughing together and joking around. And it was a lot of ad-libbing in that moment. And it was really easy, I think, for me and the girls to just stand there and just be like, what is going on here? It's really easy to play off of that energy. Nat is developing herself as a young GM. And I think this season she really grows. You see towards the end, but yeah.
Well, big again, big boss energy. And I mean, again, I love how we saw her grow and show respect to Shoresy in season 2 and vice versa. So I look forward to seeing what comes from that. Keilani, I'll come back to you and kind of bounce off of Tasya's answer. There's so many scenes that feel both written to a T, but also feel ad-libbed like crazy, especially the office scenes between the 3 of you and Shoresy and Sanguinette. How often do you find you get to ad-lib with everybody in this show?
Well, you know what? It's actually pretty amazing how technically sound everyone is, keeping to the script to a T for the most part. I have one outstanding moment that I can think of from this season. I think it's in episode 1, so when y'all watch it. But I remember reading through this script where we're introducing all the teams for the National Senior Tournament and being like, okay, there's this perfect opportunity for us to include some traditional territory names and some treaty names and really just give some acknowledgement to that and those traditional lands. And so it was really so fulfilling to be able to bring that to Jared and say, hey, what do you think about this idea? Can we throw this in there? And he was really open to receiving that, and then really just having that representation. I went back to my trailer after I had a little cry, because I was like, this is so rad. This is like why we do what we do, So that was one moment where we kind of got to stray from the original writing, but it was just like this really welcomed addition to what we were working on.
I love to hear that. I love that Jared's that collaborative with everybody, and I love that both in this show and in Letterkenny, how he's really expanded representation for so many different peoples. So I love to hear that. Now I see I'm coming close to time. A question I asked the other group, and I'm curious for you both as well. We see Anik gets a bigger role as the show starts to go on, and again, as a Letterkenny fan, I know I'd love to see more faces like Riley and Jonesy and everybody else pop up. But who would you both love to play opposite from the original show in Shoresy?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I feel like it'd be really interesting to see Nat in Letterkenny in general and just see how she moves in that space. When we first started filming the Shoresy, we were looking, I started building a character that was a little bit more, grassroots, a little bit more kind of living in the Letterkenny world. And when I spoke to Ginger Martini, our head of costumes, she was like, "Oh no, Nat's a big city girl compared to the Letterkenny crowd. She's a big city. This is Sudbury, my friend." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's totally different aesthetic. So I think it'd be interesting, if the hockey team went to Letterkenny to play a game and just to see how she would play in that space in general would be really funny.
I feel like for me, it would be Dio. Dio for sure, just because
I was gonna say Dio too.
She blows my mind with her comedy and the way she delivers. I feel like it would be so fun.
Yeah.
I would love to see an appearance from Theo's Tanis. I mean, she is just a killer character, and again, to see with Zieg and Mig in particular would be a more meaningful continuation of the representation that we were talking about before. So hopefully that happens in the future, but in the meantime, I cannot wait to keep the word alive about this show with season 3. Seriously, it's so much fun, such a great expansion of this franchise, and again, fingers crossed for more. So thank you both so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you so much, Grant.
We've got the best senior teams in Canada here, including a ton of ex-pros, and we're going to use this opportunity to give back to Sudbury.
With a webisode?
Webinar.
The other 2 are seminars.
2?